Let us start off with sexual orientation. It's none of your goddamn business. Now, of course, as a homeless man, I get to take the bullshit from both sides. I got a bunch of LGBT people want to call me cis. I ain't your sister, sister. I got a bunch of straight people calling me that F word. You know that F word. Now, here's the thing. Let's pretend for a moment. You notice I'm using the word pretend. Let's pretend for a moment that I am a heterosexual, that I am attracted exclusively to women in a sexual way. Is that your fucking business? Does that make it okay to call me cis? I mean, you want to use descriptives, right? Cis apparently stands for what? Cisgender. What's that supposed to mean? Fuck, you make up 10,000 new words and we're supposed to go along with your definitions of these words while you try to change descriptives because you're offended by them. Well, holy shit. I'm neither heterosexual nor homosexual. I'm non-sexual, as in not fucking interested. Now, with all of the LGBT folks out there using that cis thing, none of them are using it as a descriptive. It's being used exclusively as an insult. Exclusively. Now, all these folks who hate heterosexuals should be kicked out of the fucking country whether they were born here or not. Put them on a boat, send them to fucking Cuba. Those who hate homosexuals. Well, guess what? Whether they were born here or not, they should be put on a boat and sent to Cuba. Do you like these ideas? See, this is a lot of the ideas that people have for me when I'm bullied. Well, why don't you just move elsewhere? Why don't you go to another country? Right? See, people like the idea of equality, but not the reality of equality. A lot of women like the idea of equality. They don't like the reality of working a fucking construction job. You like the idea of equality in voting, but not when it comes to earning that vote through military service, signing up for the draft. You want things, you just don't want to earn them. And when there are people who have busted their ass so that you could have your nice, pretty things, and those people tear their bodies apart doing that for you, working those hard jobs, until they can't take care of themselves anymore. And because they're not wiping your ass anymore, you just abandon them. It don't matter if you're trans, homosexual, heterosexual. People will look for any excuse. Now let me give you an example of that Wolnez feller. He wants to go to them churches where they have food, but he wants to talk shit about me begging. Right? But he's going to those places. Pot calling the kettle black, right? You know what? If a heterosexual man wearing blue jeans and a red t-shirt shoot somebody. I'm not going to tell the police that some cis was shooting people. I'm going to give them a description. If you want to go, oh, well, I'm offended by the word red, so we have to change the word red to something else. I feel that blue should actually be called red. I don't give a shit. You're trying to change the English language to fit your stupidity, ignorance, and selfishness. Right now, I get to listen to a whole bunch of homosexuals and heterosexuals that refuse to see the other side as human beings. Then there's lots of us who see both sides as human beings, and we see both sides making the same stupid mistakes. To the gay community that wants to pretend that I'm a heterosexual, heterosexuals like me have been fighting for your rights for our entire lives. While you insult us by assuming our sexual orientation and projecting onto us everything that you want to fucking whine about in your life. It's like black people bitching at me because some white people owned some black people over 200 years ago. Well, guess what? Black people still own black people. Black people still own white people. White people still own white people. Slavery is not gone. It is not dead. And it is not gender specific. Nor is it skin color specific. Not every sexual predator is male. You just only care if they're male. Now let's talk about Chloe Roma and Pearl Davis and the Dadvocate. These are some of the most disgusting women on the planet. And that descriptive right there, these are women. These are biological women. They were born women. They profess to be women by mouth. All three of these women claim to be women. They don't claim to be men, but they also claim to be men's rights advocates, and they absolutely are not. Of course, who's going to listen to a man? The reason that these women is so popular is because they're not men, which means they are more likely to get heard. But they're also fucking clueless, all three of them. The idea that men need to be woman-splained every goddamn thing is fucking stupid. Men are more likely to know what's going on in their immediate vicinity. Men are more likely to be aware of what's going on around them because we're taught that we're supposed to be protectors. So we got these labels, right? You want to use the F word. In an area like this, well, that's acceptable, apparently. It's not okay to be gay here. It's not okay to be trans here. How true is that? It's not. There are so many people here who hate the LGBT community, but there are so many people here who are going to go, you know what? That ain't happening on my watch. I'm not just going to stand there and allow it to happen. And I'm certainly not going to look the other way. I don't care if you're into men or if you're into women. I don't care if you're a man or a woman. I care if you're being abused. I care if you're being harmed. I'm not going to do this whole, all right, well, we're going to stop using all of the words that anybody in the LGBT community could possibly be offended by, because there isn't a word in the dictionary that somebody won't get offended by if they're looking for excuses to get offended. That goes for both sides. I'm not on either side. You know, if a person with an Adam's apple in a dress just robbed somebody and they're running down the street and we got just a few minutes to catch them before they get away with it, and it's something important, like, say, for example, somebody has a computer full of evidence of child molesters and rapists that needs turned in, and we got some guy in a dress stealing that because, well, he wants to go get his fix. Are you going to say, oh, well, nobody who's a dude in a dress would ever do drugs? You going to try making that claim? You're going to try claiming that nobody in the LGBT community would ever steal anything? That's not thinking right. Yes, I stick up for the LGBT community, but I am not sticking up for the predators within it. I have been physically assaulted and I have been raped by members of the LGBT community. I know better firsthand. In fairness and equality, calling every person in the LGBT community cis because they want to change words and invent words, and we're supposed to go with their descriptives while they try to change the English language, which is universal. It's universal. Male or female is a descriptive. If it's a dude in a dress, it's going to be a lot easier to pick that person out of a crowd if you say it's a dude in a dress than if you're trying to be PC about it. Because the thing is, no two human beings are going to agree on what's politically correct. But a lot of people universally agree that political correctness is stupid. If a black man shoots my neighbor, I'm not going to bother with how he orientates himself sexually. Whether he identifies as a man or a woman is arbitrary. If I say it was a man who did it, they're going to look for somebody who looks like a man. If it was a black person who did it, they're going to look for a person who's black. So if it was a black man, that narrows it down to not Hispanic, not Native, not white. Oh, wait, white. We keep hearing this white thing. Why has every white person got to be white? Now we've got too much emphasis on skin color coming from everybody, because everybody's offended by skin color. Every white person is out to get you, right? Every heterosexual is out to get you. And anybody that you don't like, you're going to assign heterosexualism to them. Just like on the other side, those folks assign to everybody that they don't like that they must be homosexuals. And all of you pull the pedo thing. You don't like someone, you want to hurt them. You want people to look the other way. What do? You slander their name. Change the meanings of words. Change the sentence structure. Or just outright make the most fucked up claims that you can, just to try to discredit the other person. On the bright side, I save evidence. It's kind of difficult to discredit me. Instead, what do you have to do? You have to change the meaning of words to deprive me of my rights as a human being. Holy Christ. And I get it from both sides. Homosexuals don't like me. Heterosexuals don't like me. Right? We're supposed to blame the whole group? Not every white person is out to get you. Not every black person is out to rob you. Not every Mexican is out to rape you. Pull your heads out of your asses. People are people. Do you judge a person by the color of their skin or by the content of their character? Do you judge them by their gender or by the content of their character? Do you judge them by the nation they were born in or by the content of their character? I'm an asshole for a reason. I'm everybody's kicking post. I'm everybody's punching bag. Because it's socially acceptable. Matter of fact, it is encouraged on every level for people to victimize the homeless. You fucks.